Hey there everyone, Luke here, and yes I know, right after this review gets put up, the next chapter 228, will be released, but this has been the only time this week I've been able to actually do this review because a lot of stuff has been going on in my personal life. Just got my role in my next show that I'm going to be doing, so yeah, looking forward to starting learning lines on that and getting to the rehearsals with that. So yeah, that's what's taking my time, and also doing other things like my writing and discussing a Rumocoon with guys on Red's 100 Girlfriend server. So yeah, come and join us on there. Really great place to be. But yeah, before I go off on a tangent about other things, let's just dive right into the chapter. So this is chapter 227, titled The Insider. So continuing on from the last chapter where they captured Kokuryo, the shapeshifter witch, where he literally just showed up in front of them, didn't a proper fight, and they allowed it to be captured because he's saying like, hey, I want you to prevent Juru's resurrection. And now this is the chapter where he finally lays out, okay, this is what's going on, this is why I want you to do it, but at the same time I'm kind of like still a bit iffy on this. So he starts off by introducing himself by saying, yeah, I'm the shapeshifter witch. I'm sure Kunu has told you of our clashes years ago. So yeah, obviously referring to when the Fire and Blaze flashback arc happened. And we have Keigo here. Not Kale. We have Khan being here like, yeah, he did. You're the moron who tried to summon Jewel, but wound up summoning a totally different monster instead. As he explains that, yeah, my heart's changed across the years. I no longer want Juru's revival. Khan is just there like, so you pop out of the woodworks and now you're literally saying, yeah, you want to be pals and everything. Yeah, I went up against your parents years and years ago, and now all of a sudden I want to be pals with my children because you want to stop the resurrection of Juru. You want to get close to us and work out what's going on with us. So how about you just walk up to the door, knock on it, and bring a proper honest gift with us. As Miu is there like, okay, Khan, give the poor man some space. You look like you're about to do something with him. So yeah, literally right up in his face as he's arguing this. But this is where Kokuryo says like, yeah, I use talismans of my own design for my spell. I find them more effective and energy efficient for me. I believe Kuro has been trained in the use of similar talismans, but these are the only ones I have. Without them, I can't do anything. So and he goes on to say like, look, I've got nothing here. I've come unharmed, so you can search me. If you want to search me, you have every right to do all of that. But I can rest assure you that I've got nothing on me right now. And here we have Yokan Janice as the oh, he actually did bring her on a script as he's saying like, look, I don't want any trouble. I just want to talk to you. So as Murray is getting a little bit suspicious of him, we cut over to Nico's room where we have Momo and Wolf, obviously bodyguarding her, as Wolf is kind of like on the edge of being like, probably thinking like, no, I really want to get out there. I really want to take on that guy. And Momo's there like, hey Wolf, you don't want one of these like cream puffs that I have? And he's like just there being insinuated like, no, I really don't want it. But are you sure? Okay then, we'll eat him. And he's like, oh, save one for me. So it's nice that, okay, yeah, they're not being stupid here. They're like, okay, this guy has aligned himself with the Warlocks. Now all of a sudden he's coming to say like, I want you to stop Drew's resurrection. Yeah, they're smelling like a whiff of what I smell. Like, yeah, this is kind of like a bit suspicious. So they're like, okay, we'll lock Nico in a room. We'll deal with this guy. Wolf, Momo, you guard them. So if this man tries anything, and we can surely secure him quickly. And worst comes to worst, Momo could just teleport us all away. So this is the obvious wise choice that we've made here. So yeah, they've got Wolf there to like fight someone who comes along, and if worst comes to worst, if Wolf's defeated, like Mo could just be like, okay, we're out of here, Nico, and teleport away. So at this point, they're like, okay, what do you want? As Kokuryo says, like, oh, you saw the live stream. There's some of the people who've chosen to side with Shikimiya. his core followers with the power to go toe to toe with all of you, if you will. They all have similar reasons for sympathizing with him. They were pushed to the fringes of society because of their powers. Not sure. Like, I'm really like interested to find out like what Dory, like, what was his cause like. Be like, okay, I'm gonna side with the warlocks now because of what this world. Because it seemed like he was doing pretty well for himself, unless it was like before he became a celebrity. Like, that's where it all came, and then they used their influence to like make him a celebrity to become to get everyone to like become his fans, and therefore get a whole army ready for him. So yeah, they're ostracized, outcasts. They hold grudges against others, and it's convinced it's the world that needs changing, not themselves. So Kokuryo says like, look, I was like them, and Muri's like, oh, you became a warlock from the grief and shock of losing Rika Sasaki, like obviously being Habana's mother, the one that was part of the antagonists from the Phantom Blaze, like the one who exploded that building in the last chapter. And this is where Kokuryo says like, these are the results. These are the results of recent medical exam, stage 4 cancer. You know, something like this had to happen in the year that I lost my father to cancer. Like, really, they had to like really like just remind me of that. Okay, just gonna rip this band-aid off, and yeah, he's refused treatment and he only has a few months left to live. Okay, here's okay. When I first read this chapter, I was like thinking like, yeah, this seems a little bit skeptical, but the fact that Mori gives the like, oh my god, this is serious, like that proves like, okay, this is legitimately like proper, like, okay, this is diagnosis records. And I think he actually brought them here to be like, look, this is the main reason why I don't want this going on anymore. Like, right here, I've got not long to live. And I do like that Mori, before this point, did bring up, like, and now you suddenly, so you've aligned yourself for years with the Warlocks, and now all of a sudden you've changed your mind. Yeah, I'm sorry, but we're not believing that for a second. And then he brings out that, like, oh, you don't believe me? Like, here's the proof right here in front of you. After learning that, is it any surprise that I reflected back on my life? It was a bleak one. I burned myself in research into black magic, desperately hunting for ways to revive a mythical warlock. And then when he got this, he was like, "What have I done with my life? I've basically given my life to all it's been for nothing, because in the end I'm still gonna die, and I'm still gonna die anyway." So at this point I was like, okay, there really is nothing to there for, except for the thing that gave him the little bit of bright spark in all the darkness. Hibana, after Rika died, he raised her as his foster daughter. It was a humble life, but it was more happiness than he deserved. But of course, his grief for Rika hadn't faded, and it left his hate intact for the young innocent Ibara. I taught her that the world was hell and that we should be chosen people. And before long, she felt accustomed to the same darkness that he did, and that's how they ended up becoming the Warlocks, lining themselves with Shikimia. But he was wrong, and looking back on it now, all that Rika wanted was for them to have a happy, peaceful life, and instead of doing that, he did the exact opposite and made a far worse situation than anything he could have possibly imagined. So as Mori is hearing all of this, he basically says to him, like, look, then talk to her, convince her to stop, just leave Shikimiya's group and have the life you've normally wanted. But Kokuryo says, like, oh, leaving isn't a subject I can bring up lightly. Shikimiya doesn't need to suspect my betrayal, but he does know about my condition. Ibana told him as we cut over to Ibana having a conversation with Shikimiya. Who's explaining, like, oh, Kokuryo has that little time left, and you want him to spend his last days in peace, so you wish he'd step away from the path of revenge. So I'm glad that Shikimiya like suspected, like, oh, this is what he's doing. Like, okay, he's got this much left to live, so he doesn't want to waste his time doing any of this. So don't bring him on the path of revenge, just keep him out of this. But Hibari wants the quite opposite now. She wants to push the plan forward. And even Kokuryo, like, suspects this, like, saying, when Hibari learned how little time I have left, she'd throw herself even harder to plan. So, Juru's return is the Professor's grace, so she's basically wanting, while he wants to step away from it because he feels like he's wasted his whole life, she wants it to step the plan forward so that, hey, this proves that your life research wasn't all for nothing. So it's a very conflicting angle that they're going with here, which I really like. Like, you've got Hibari here who wants to see him, wants to see his plan come to fruition and his dream come to fruition of reviving Juro. Whereas Kokuryo is like, I don't want to spend the rest of my time just seeking revenge. I want to enjoy what little time I have left. So it's a very conflicting angle that you have going on here, which I can respect that the author's gone on here. Shikimiya says, "Oh, beautiful, just what I expected from Round Family. When I heard you started living apart, I wonder if your bonds might have grown further apart, but I see you love each other just as dearly, like wanting her to step away from the path of revenge, but her wanting to pursue it for the sake of seeing his research come to fruition." As they continue on by saying, like, "Oh, I notice you look exactly like your mother, and you're almost as old as she was when she passed away. It was Kokuryo's idea that he couldn't bear to live with you anymore." And this is where I love this, because this is exactly like when you watch some of those YouTubers that go off on like 45-minute tangents. Like, don't go off on a tangent, just keep on subject here. The Professor spent his life raising me. I owe him everything. I'll gladly die for him if need be. So we could go with plan B here, which is where if we can't capture Nico, I'll offer my body as Juru's vessel instead. But I feel like, yeah, Nico is the one that's destined to be possessed by Juro. Like, the fact that they're bringing up this here, just like further cement to, like, Nico's the one that's going to get possessed. Mori's going to have to fight Nico. Like, everyone's going to have to fight Nico to get rid of Juro. That's something that I feel like is inevitable in the series. As we come back to Kokuryo being like, Hibari means to die, so please, you have to save her. We've put together 3 separate plans for bringing back Juro into the world. Resurrecting her fully into a living body is only one of them. So we have one of her bones, so one of Juro's bones. Itoifi says bones, a spell of immortality, and of course Nico herself. We need all 3 of those things together. The hardest to cry is obviously Nico. It's obviously Nico, but it would be ideal for Juro to possess the body of the Witch of Thousands. But not only is that extremely rare, they have to be between 16 and 20 when they have their magic powers, or the spell is unlikely to succeed. So it's nice that they're establishing the rules here of like, okay, these are the limitations of, because again, it makes perfect sense why they didn't just go after Nico when she was turned into a kid. Like, it was pretty impossible at this point. And also the fact that they have strict time limits of like, okay, when can we actually get Nico to possess Juro? Like, there's a clear limit here, which I like that they've established this ruling that they've got going on. So Kokuryo goes on to say, like, all the conditions have been met. Shikimiya has the bone, he stole the immortality spell from Raku, and now Nico is 17. All 3 conditions have been met, but what if someone took one of these 3 things away? Like, what if someone, like, hey, we have got something, we have got one of the things here, take one away and the whole planet is doomed. So they assume that they mean the bone or the spell, and Shikimiya has the immortality spell. It's still sealed within the Twilight Rose. Given he has control over plants, there's no telling how or where he is actually keeping it. He's probably keeping it inside his body. Considering he's like the warlock witch of plants, he's more than likely got it inside his own body. The bone, however, they do know about in detail. It was one of Juru's arm bones, Uriel. It's straight and about 10 inches, which, from what I looked up, the Uriel is kind of like, it's like in this area, so it's kind of like this bone, right? This bone, like right here, that's where it actually comes from. So lose that, and any hope of bringing Juro back is lost forever. So again, nice that they're establishing the rules here of like, lose one of these things and then the whole plan goes to shit. But of course, that's never going to happen. The fact that they've been building up Juro's resurrection for so long, yeah, it's going to happen. If Juro doesn't get resurrected inside Nico, or doesn't get resurrected to have a big massive war happen before the end says, I will be so disappointed with this. I feel like that will kind of make the series feel a bit of letdown, that we've built up Drew being resurrected so much only for it to not happen. I don't think that's gonna come to pass. Nico, like I said, will be possessed by Drew. But they continue on by saying Shikimiya, he's already aware, and I'm glad that Shikimiya is already aware of these dangers. Like, yeah, if we lose this thing, our whole plan is going completely shit, complete shit. So as we come back to Shikimiya, with Hibana being like, no need to be hasty, we'll resurrect Drew plan A. To do that, we need to separate Nico from her familiars that will take a fight, and all you need to do is win it. So all you need to do is beat down all the familiars, beat down all of Nico's familiars, and then we get her. In fact, it will still work for as long as even one of us survives, and that one doesn't need to be me. And I do like the plan that he actually has going on here, because it does say that all they need is the bone. Like, it doesn't say the bone needs to be intact, that just that they need the bone. So this is where they say, they realise, like, oh, what the plan is actually going on here, as they go, even just one of us, is that why the bone is going to be, and yeah, Moi says, like, it's going to be broken up into pieces. So yeah, once again, clever plan, because the rules didn't establish, like, the bone had to be intact. It just has to be the bone itself. Like, a piece of the bone could be suffice. So yeah, Shikimiya is going to cut it into several pieces, give each one of it to his core supporters. The spell to revive Jewel only needs the tiniest fragment after all, which, again, really glad that they established that connection here, and that they're splitting it up, because, again, if you have that ruling, like, you can find that loophole, like, okay, so we need the bone, but does the bone have to be intact? No, okay, we'll just split it up. We'll just split it up then. Split it up, get it out. So then only one of us needs to survive for this plan to actually come to fruition. So again, great plan by the Warlocks, very impressive. So as Kokuryo continues to explain all of this, he says doing it will require something of a ritual, though, which is why he's doing it on the open sea, as they're like, how is he going to do that on the open sea, in an ocean? As they say, I have both the time and place it will hold the ritual. The bone will be a ceremonial split. So, again, even if this is a trap, the guys still know that, okay, yeah, we're obviously going to have to fight at some point. Yeah, it's an obvious trap. So even if he's, like, still on their side, like, they already know that, okay, yeah, we already knew the plan was coming, so we've been more than prepared for it. So he mentions that the 1st of February, he'll hold it on the cruise ship, Aurelia. So Aurelia, I think that's how you pronounce it. So again, we're getting a cruise ship. We're getting a cruise ship arc. Hopefully, it's better than the Spy X Family cruise ship arc. Oh my god, that arc was just so boring when I read it. That arc made me drop Spy X Family, because of just how long, boring, and tedious it was going on, that cruise ship arc. I know that's going to give a lot of people but I don't care. Like, the cruise ship arc in Spy X Family was just such a bore, such a snowfest to get through. But anyway, so yeah, this is the plan that they're going with, and the bone's going to be split up, and they're going to have to do some fighting here. So yeah, the bone will be on that ship on that day. There's no, that's for certain. Need I say more? As Mori says, like, oh, we're going to go with an ambush here, as Kokuryo says, yes, with my magic I can get you on that ship in secret. Before Miria says, like, wait a minute, you want us to infiltrate this cruise ship and steal and stage an ambush to steal that bone from the Warlocks? That's utterly, before Muri's like, no way, it could work. The Warlocks don't know Mr. Kokuryo has betrayed them, but given the fact that we can't trust this guy fully yet until he meets back up with the Warlocks, my guess is that, yeah, even though his condition is still legit, and he's still like, look, I've not got long left to live, I still believe, like, he's still on their side. Like, he's probably doing double cross of a double cross of a double cross, being like, oh, I'm a double agent, but no, I'm actually a triple agent. So maybe that's kind of like what they're going for here. I still generally believe, like, his cancer is legit, but I feel like he's still doing, like, the triple agent thing to kind of get them all in one place for Shikimiya, because Shikimiya probably was like, hey, you've got you go to these guys, because if you give them, like, hey, I've got this condition of not got long left to live, that'll probably get them believing you easier. But anyway, Mori goes on to say, that's not all. With the intel you've provided, we can build up plans to counter them, and if all goes well, we can win without needing to fight. Until now, we could only passively wait for them to attack us, but things have changed, and we have a chance to strike back. We can take the initiative as Mori gets fired up, and that's where the chapter ends. So, yeah, not as good as the opening 2 chapters of part 3, but still pretty impactful, pretty needed for moving forward to progress the story. Like I said, I'm glad that we're actually moving progression to the resurrection of Juro. Now, like I said, whether or not Kokuryo does portray them, that remains to be seen. If he's going to do like the triple agent thing. I still believe that that's what's going to happen. But then again, I could prove wrong. I could prove that he's totally changed his heart because of what his condition's gone through. And yeah, either way, I am really excited to see what is going to go down on this cruise ship. Now, are they going to fight? Yes, they are. I feel like they are still going to have to fight. I feel like obviously Charmy is going to be part of this as well because she's going to fight Dory. I feel like a fight with Charmy and Dory is inevitable. I don't know who Keiko, Khan, Mirio, or even Mori will fight. Obviously, Mori will have to fight Shikimiya, and hopefully that fight will end as disastrous as it did at the end of Day of Disaster. But again, these are all hypotheticals until we actually get to the chapter, and we'll just have to wait and see. But anyway, guys, what did you think of this chapter? Let me know. Like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. And this will be Lasherluke signing off. Later, guys.